Hey guys, ku soo dhawaada channelka English with Mima video cusub. Videoga maanta ku yar waxa uu ka duwan yahay. Videogan maanta waxaa martiin oo ah mid kamid ah asxaabta isla baraatikay jirnay luqadda Englishka. Martideena maanta waa Sumaya. Sumaya waa gabar Soomaaliyeed. Waxaa isbaranay sanadii 2019 xilligii Niisha isbaranayna agteeda. Sumaya waxay kamid ah gabdhihii Soomaalida aan bartay kuwooda ugu luqadda fiican. Maantana waxaan wax ka weydiin doonaa safarkeedii barashada luqadda Englishka, caqabadooyinka ay la kulantay iyo weliba qaababka ay u xalisay. Dabcan waxaan ku wada sheekaysan doonaa luqadda Englishka. Waxaa isku dayay inta badan inaan isticmaalno ereyo basiit ah. Ereyada isla dadka wada fahmi doonaan waxaan kuu soo qori doonaa shaashada. Fadlan videoga inta bilaabaan ka hor haddaad nagu cusubtahay nagu soo biirsan ka subscribe videoga like garee una share garee asxaabtaada jecel inay bartaan luqadda Englishka. Haddana bilaabaan videogeena. Let's welcome one of my very good friends, Sumaya. Sumaya, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, thank you again. And here I have a bunch of questions for you. We'll start with introduction. First, tell us a bit about yourself and your English learning journey.
Okay, so a little introduction about me. My name is Sumaya. I'm a girl born in Somalia but grew up in Kenya. I studied my primary and secondary school in Kenya and now study uni in Somalia. As for my journey with English, it started in 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic. I was on holiday, obviously with nothing much to do. And at the same time, guess what? I got my first phone. So I thought maybe I could use this opportunity to start taking my English improvement seriously. So at that point, I was already in high school, which means I could read, write, and understand English perfectly. But I was really struggling with my speaking skills. Same as almost everyone watching right now. We can all read, write, and understand, but when it comes to speaking, we become blank. And that was my problem too. And what I was also interested was changing my Kenyan accent to an American accent, even though I don't think I have a distinct accent right now, but at the time, the American accent was my favorite. Honestly, especially at the beginning, it was really a challenging journey, especially with the accent part, but I never gave up. I mean, I stayed consistent because I truly wanted to speak like a native speaker one day, and that motivation kept me going.
By the way, your accent is really amazing. Don't be too hard on yourself. And you know what they say? Consistency is the key, especially when you're learning a language. You just have to practice every day, and progress will come naturally. And one day you'll be surprised of how far you've come. Well, moving on to the next question. You know, when people decide to learn a language, the first thing they worry about is resources. Because there's just multiple resources out there, and they don't know which one they should use. So for you, when you were learning English, did you use any specific resources like books you used to read or apps or YouTube channels you used to watch?
The resources that I used were mainly apps and YouTube channels. I wasn't really into books, I'm not gonna lie. I think if you are interested in improving your vocabulary or expanding your word bank, then yes, reading books might help. But if you are interested in improving your speaking skills, I believe talking to people, watching YouTube videos, and listening to podcasts a lot will be more effective than reading books.
Well, let's just say that people do have different opinions, which is okay. I think that reading books is more than just expanding your vocabs. When you're reading a book for learning purposes, you're also training the muscles of your tongue to make those sounds, especially if you're reading out loud, which is recommended. Now, moving on to the next question. Did you have a habit that helped you improve your English?
Okay, so one of the habits that really helped me was by talking to people or talking to myself, even, which I still do. Like, girl, I am a professional self talker, and every time I speak to myself, I do it in English. And there's a cool thing that I used to do, which I still do it too, and I know I'm not the only one, obviously, is sometimes I imagine different scenarios, like, for example, standing in front of thousands of people and delivering a public speech, or making a YouTube video, or answering some questions in an interview. I just imagine those scenarios and I start speaking English. Like, it feels real sometimes. And before I forget, one of the most important habits that really helped me, especially with my accent and pronunciation is mimicking native speakers. And what I mean by mimicking is imitating or copying the way native speakers speak or the way they say some certain words. Oh my goodness, that helped me a lot, especially with my accent and pronunciation, as I said before.
Girl, when I tell you, I used to stand in front of the mirror and talk to myself a lot and play all of those different scenarios on my head, pretend to be 5 different characters at the same time. When I tell you because of that, I now have a great acting skill. I'm not even kidding. If there is a company out there looking for a great actress, hit me up, DM me. At first, I started talking to myself to practice language because I didn't had any language partner, but I had so much fun that I just do it for fun now, despite all the comments I get. Sometimes people even question my sanity. Like they used to tell me that this is the first step of losing your sanity. So I recommend to all of you guys to talk to yourselves, but watch out for people. Make sure nobody sees you when you do it, if you cannot tolerate those comments. Okay, let's move to the next question. You know, there's a lot of people who claim that they learned a whole language just by watching TV shows or movies or listening to music. What about you? Are you one of those people? And if yes, please share with us the TV shows you used to watch.
Honestly, neither, because I don't remember any TV shows that I used to watch. And when it comes to movies, I'm not really a movie person. I had Netflix, I used to watch some movies from there, but it wasn't my main source, if that makes sense. What I remember that I used to watch a lot was content from regular creators. Also, content from celebrities. Also, crime documentaries. Like, which I still love crime documentaries, is my favorite thing to watch on YouTube. And also, like, pretty much anyone who spoke English. Like, my entire YouTube homepage was in English. I converted from Somali to English. And as for music, I just listen to it for fun. I've never listened to music with the intention of improving my English.
Well, that's really a good point. Although watching a movie is a really good way of learning language, but the only problem I have with watching movies is that everything in the movie is scripted. And that's the reason I always say it's better for you to watch normal people. And what I mean by normal people is to watch people that do like daily vlogs on YouTube or people that generally talk about life. Moving on to the next question. The next question says, have you ever had an embarrassing or funny moment while speaking English?
Okay, so this isn't about while I was speaking English, but it is a funny story from my language learning journey that I will never forget. So one time I was laying in bed using an app. I don't remember the name of it, but it was helping me learn the American T sound because that sound was the hardest for me. It was completely new to me, so I struggled with it a lot and had multiple apps to help me practice. So I was laying in the bed using the app and softly mimicking the sound when my sister heard me. She thought I was groaning and asked, "Girl, are you sick?" I was confused and asked, "What do you mean?" She said, "I heard you groaning." I burst out laughing and said, "Girl, I'm just mimicking a sound." So that story stuck with me till now.
Oh my god, that's so funny. But I feel like yours is less embarrassing than mine, so now I'm hesitating if I want to share mine or not. But I'll tell you guys anyway. So this was my first time that I've ever met a foreign person in real life. And this person was very friendly and people were talking to him. But the only problem were that nobody spoke English at the time, and so they were using hand gestures to deliver the message. So I thought to myself, this is my time to shine, and this is my time to put English in use. I walked up to him and I said hi. He seemed very happy that he finally found somebody who spoke his language, so he had a lot of questions to ask. And after I said hi to him, I just froze. I couldn't speak out of frustration, so I was just like staring at him. He kept asking me question after question, and we had like a good couple of seconds of just like awkwardness. It felt like every English word that I knew just flew away from my head. It felt like a scene from a movie, and after a couple of seconds, that's when I started speaking. That was so embarrassing, yet a good experience, because he did compliment my language. So now let's come to the fun stuff. Sumaya, is there an English word you always mispronounce even now?
Okay, so there is a universal word that almost everybody I know, everybody I saw mispronounce, especially in the American accent, which is literally. I cannot say it. I know I'm not saying it correctly, but that is how I say it, obviously.
Literally.
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 Literally. Ya Allah.
Literally.
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 And another word that I also really struggle and I mispronounce is February. I know I'm not saying it correctly too, but February, oh, I can't say it. It's also another word that I mispronounce. So those two is what I can think of right now.
I cannot even pronounce that word for the life of me. That's why I always switch to British if I want to say that word. And I say literally. It's so fun and easy, but try saying that word in American way. I'm not even gonna embarrass myself here and try to say that. And you listening to us, is there an English word that you could not pronounce or you mispronounce all the time? Tell us in the comment section. And that brings us to the end of the video. Sumaya, is there any last words you'd like to share with the audience?
Okay, so what I will say at the end is, guys, if I did a Yukon tier, just trust yourself. And out of the million ways to learn a language, find what works for you and stick with it. And most importantly, never give up. No matter how much you struggle or how many times you feel stuck, just keep going. It'll be totally worth it, believe me. Last but not the least, thank you so much, Mima, for having me on your channel. I really enjoyed our conversation. I had an amazing time and I hope the audience found it valuable. Bye, guys, and thank you so much again.
And thank you so much, Sumaya, for joining me. I'll be happy to have you here again. waxaa soo gaarnay dhammaadkii videoga. Fadlan ha hilmaamin inaad video la gelisid, channel subscribe dhahdid, una share gelisid asxaabta jecel inay bartaan luqadda Englishka. Sidoo kale haddii aad ka hesheen videoska noocan oo kale, tad igula wadaagi qaybta commentska. Waxaa halkan idiin soo fariisin doonaa asxaabtii isla baraatikeen jirnay luqadda intooda ugu badan. And as always, that's it for today. See you in my next video. Bye!